If you're here, you love pickleball, and either you already have a side hustle that you want to grow, or you're thinking about getting into a pickleball side hustle, maybe selling paddles, maybe starting a coaching company, selling something else in pickleball, and you want to know how to really take it to the next level because you want to transit potentially into doing it full time. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 really important areas of focus so that you can potentially double, triple your pickleball side hustle in the next few months. My name's Simon Lovell, founder of Picklepreneurs and the Picklepreneurs Mastermind, where I coach, consult, and mentor pickleball business owners through my own personal experience growing multi-million-dollar companies in the fitness space, and now coming into pickleball after getting a really serious medical condition, and it completely changed my life. So that's why I'm here, to help you. All right, so got my little post-it note here. Number 1, social video. Now, this may be a resistance to you right now, but I can tell you what made a massive difference to my life was creating video. My first video on YouTube was actually 14 years ago for a product called the Lunchbox Diet. And it was once I got over that fear of me being in front of camera that really helped me to grow my businesses, because people connect with people. So instead of just posting pictures of paddles or just posting the pictures that you have, start training yourself on video. A great place to start is with stories, for example, on Instagram or YouTube Shorts. I just actually did a Picklepreneurs training in the mastermind around launching a YouTube channel, because by doing stories and shorts and doing behind the scenes, that's going to get you comfortable with being on camera. Also, your first videos should be about what you're passionate about. So when you get excited about something, maybe you've learned something, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video, that's important for you to share. So being comfortable with yourself. And actually, someone gave a great tip on the mastermind call today, which is actually to use the mirror, to look in the mirror, to talk into the mirror, and start to get comfortable with you doing what I'm doing now. Because in reality, people want to learn from people. They want to hear people's stories. It's not just about the product, it's the why. Why are you promoting that product? Why is that important to you beyond just the financial side? And people can really see through, as more and more people come into the space, people can kind of see through when it's just a promotional thing versus when it's actually a true, authentic connection. Okay. The next one, which is testimonials. Okay. Testimonials are a staple when it comes to business growth. And the more that you can train yourself to ask for testimonials, the better. But there's a right time to do it. All right. You don't ask for a testimonial of a product when someone, is having a bad day, as an example. So there's certain milestones, but you want to get testimonials throughout a customer's journey. All right. So for me, if I work with a client and they reach their first $5,000 or $10,000 in business, those are great milestones. But there's also other milestones, which are, different ones. For example, if I help a pickleball coach get their first student, that's a milestone. So think about the milestones that your product, potentially you're going to have, and think about the opportunities that you can present to grab those testimonials. For example, if you're a pickleball coach and you're doing tournaments, someone winning is, maybe a beginner tournament is a great time to get a testimonial when they're excited because they won, and then find out the story so that you present that, because the more testimonials that you get, the better, because people connect with different people. So if you have a broad range of people and demographics, that's really going to help your business. And so also you want to start to create systems around this. The next one is ads. Now, in the early stages, you're probably doing organic stuff on social media, but there's a great transition point when you start to move to paid ads. Now, your product, needs to be within a certain range because of the ad costs, but just know that within still a side hustle, you can actually spend $10, $20, start boosting your profile, start getting, the stuff out there. And that can be a great way. Now, when you do it correctly, for example, what I teach in the mastermind, once you get the creative right and you get the ad setup right on Meta, you can actually start getting leads within 20 minutes of your ads going live. But you need to know how to do that creative versus just, for example, promoting the paddle. And when you actually merge that with you being on video, then you start to get some really good results because people are connecting with you. So I just want to plant ads in your mind for maybe later on in your journey. And just know that when you do that and do it right, you'll be able to 10x your results. Okay, the next one is collaborations. All right. So one of the great things about, for example, a community like the Pickleballpreneurs Mastermind is that there's lots of different people from different areas of the pickleball community, but there's also loads of opportunities in your area, right? So when you go and play pickleball, find out, the type of people there and see if there's a match between your product and their mission, because collaborations happen through values. All right. So the more that you share your story, and that's a good reason to get on video, share your story on social media, people connect with people's story, their values, why they're doing what they're doing. And so it's not just about the product, okay? Because a lot of people have a lot of opportunities and products to promote. But the way that you will get more collaborations is through authentic connection, being within the right environments of people that are being brought together. All right. For example, in my mastermind calls, I have these monthly calls where people can find out what everyone's doing. And so that gives an opportunity for collaboration, and collaborations have happened through that. But just as an overlying view, if you haven't yet done collaborations, it's all about commenting on social media, being genuine, having thoughtful posts on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great place to start to build connections, build collaborations. And then don't be afraid to jump into conversations. Okay. People in the pickleball space, especially if you're new to doing a side hustle, I want you to know that people in the pickleball space are really kind. They're really open to collaborating. And so there can be some amazing opportunities for you where you can potentially do some really good things, where there's an exchange between people's email addresses and databases, and you can do some really awesome collaborations. All right. The next one, which is understanding, you may, for example, and I had this conversation today in the mastermind. Let's just say that you're selling jewelry and jewelry is your side hustle. And you're also thinking about coaching. Just know that coaching, especially with beginners, is the opening to them starting to spend. I'll give you an example. So I did some pickleball coaching for picklepreneurs and ran some ads. And so when people started messaging me, some had already played pickleball, but others had not started yet. And so I said, do you have a paddle? And they were like, no. So I recommended one. Now I don't have a paddle to promote, but I just authentically promoted and mentioned the one that I recommended. And so they bought that paddle and showed up with that paddle. So they've already made a purchase before they've seen me. And just know that coaches and putting, whether you are a coach or whether you want to sell a product, like the time to sell products is once trust has been built. So building relationships with coaches is a really good thing. But also, if you start coaching and you're selling products, then not only are you being paid for your coaching or your instruction with Pickleball, but you're also then potentially going to be selling products because you become an authority. So when a new client who doesn't know anything about pickleball comes to you, they're going to come to you for what's the right paddle, right? What eyewear should I purchase? And hopefully, if you're doing it with integrity and you're not just selling them something that makes you more money but isn't that great, which I don't think you'll be doing, then you can actually be making a commissions, or potentially, if you have that product yourself, to be doing that. So I just want to bring in the coaching side of it, getting in early, which I think is important. The next one, which is email. So not a lot of people are doing this, which is getting email addresses and building up a database. But the way to do that and do it properly is by giving value. And so the reason why someone's going to give you your email is not just because of an offer of saving 20%, but putting together a guide, right? Adding value in some way where people are going to opt in. And so that's really internet marketing and understanding internet marketing. And then also building an email sequence so that when someone gives you your email address, you can essentially one time set something up that gets dripped, for example, over a 7-day, 30-day period that builds trust and then gets them to want to purchase your product. But you need to set that up in the right way. Okay. Just, for example, not just selling every single day. You need to nurture. It's called nurturing. Okay. So understanding email marketing is key, which brings me nicely onto the second one, which is building a marketing funnel. So there's a couple of ways to do this. There's a marketing funnel on social media like Instagram. A funnel is basically where you bring people into your world and then build trust, and then they buy products and services. So you don't necessarily need a website, but you do need a social media profile that's optimized. And in a lot of my onboarding conversations with mastermind members on our first call, which I give away as a bonus, a lot of what I'm doing is actually helping someone position their side hustle properly because they're not generating sales. And as soon as they position it properly, then they start to see traction. So your marketing funnel is essentially how you position yourself so that people come in and then start, for example, opting into your email list, and then you can start to nurture. So the way that I can double, triple, quadruple a company quickly is by repositioning, introducing a marketing funnel, get that working, and then boosting it with ads. And then you start to see consistent sales. By the way, these trainings are things which are in the mastermind, okay, around marketing funnels, around ads, all this kind of stuff that I'm talking about. But it's important for you to know. The next one, which is adding value. So earlier I spoke about doing video, but people get stuck here. And so what you want to do is think about how can you add value to your audience. So I write a lot of articles, or have written a lot of articles for entrepreneur.com. And the ones that generate business are authentic stories, they're formulas, it's not always like the tips and advice, but it's the things that are working for you. So my advice is have a notepad and write down the top 5 or 10 things where you've overcome certain things, and then link your product to that. All right. So adding value is about someone receiving your information and then going, oh, my perspective has changed. Now my action is going to change because of what they've shared. And now it makes sense that what they've shared, for example, if you sell tape for the edge of a paddle, I'll give you that example. Okay. Then you want to sell the tape for the edge of the paddle or the weights for the edge of the paddle, right? But your value is going to be on the education of where you were prior to putting tape or weights on your paddle, and then what shifted when you learned something, and then how your game has changed because of the tape or the paddle. And then because of that value, you're not necessarily selling directly the tape or the paddle, but you're telling the story, and now they want the tape or the weights because of what they learned from you. So instead of doing a video saying like, buy this tape, buy this weight, what you're doing is you're educating, you're adding value so that it makes sense for them of why it's worked without needing a purchase, and then saying, oh, if you want to buy these weights, because I found these work really well, then that's going to be the choice. So that's how it works. And I think people really struggle with the value side of it, especially when you're new to entrepreneurship. It isn't that challenging and a great thing to do. Actually, one thing I teach in the mastermind is around how to use AI with headline ideas and stuff like that. And then, of course, also then merging that in with you being in front of camera and you starting to get traction with your reels, with your YouTube shorts, with the different channels, essentially, to get you the sales that you want. Okay. Now I said I'd give you 8, but I'm going to give you 2 more. Actually, the next one is AI. So when you use AI, you want to use both ChatGPT and Gemini. So have both tabs open, and then you need to think literally. So if you're like, hey, I've got an idea, for some content around how do I link dinking to this paddle, right? Or let's use the example of the lead tape, right? So I want to create some content around this lead tape. Give me 20 ideas. And so what ChatGPT and AI is going to do is just give you a bunch of ideas that then can spark you into creating the content. Okay, very, very important. And the final one are events. Now, these are events which you can go to. These aren't pickleball related, but they are events where it's normal networking, and then people learn about pickleball. Or this is you putting on events, which you draw pickleballers to, which is then you essentially are the sponsor of that event with the products and services that you have. So you don't even need to be a pickleball coach. You can just set up an event and you can promote it on Facebook, Meetup, Eventbrite, and then a playtime scheduler, all these different areas. Someone started buzzing in the background. If you can hear this, I apologize. I'm glad I got this little mic. So just to go over this again, social video, testimonials, ads, collabs, coaching, front ending with coaching to then sell products and services, email, marketing funnels, adding value, AI, events, and that's 10. Now, if you really want to take your business and double and triple your business, the Picklepreneurs Mastermind is a great place to network, to learn, to get accountability. We have monthly mastermind calls. There's an onboarding call with me, if depending on when you watch this video, where I'll coach you based upon where your business and side hustle is right now, or if you want to start one and what's going to be best for you, how to maximize your pricing, positioning. Then the trainings, there's 6 courts. There's a mindset court, there's a sales court, there's a marketing court. Today I just added how to launch on YouTube. Okay. There's a court on automation, on ads. So you can start learning this stuff, actioning it, and making more sales. But what I will do on that call is look at actually what you're selling and say, why don't you add this, reposition this, do this to increase the average sale value. I will also teach you one strategy when someone buys, what to do immediately afterwards to get basically 20 or 30% of people buying something additional, which makes you more money. So my goal with the Picklepreneurs Mastermind is bring people together. So we have, the past few people who've come in there, a pro, other coaches, a chiropractor. So there's this inner circle of pickleball business owners who are coaches who are selling different products. But then there's also this outer circle of, for example, a pickleball player who's a real estate agent, as one example of an industry where they are sharing their skills, which then you can apply to your business. And so the mastermind, I actually did another video on mastermind. The masterminding is about people coming together, sharing things that are working to elevate your business. And that's why it's really worth making that investment so you get a really good return if you're willing to go all in. So check out the link in the description if you want to check out the Picklepreneurs Mastermind. Irrespective of that, post in the comments and let me know which one of these that I've shared today would you like me to go into, in more detail. And I will do my best to share that video with you. I will see you in another video, and best of luck with your pickleball side hustle. Take it easy.